Ladies and gentlemen, today we are hip-hopping, we're bouncing. They say put your pants under the bums, grab your front, slide the cap aside, rock that sneaker and those shades. Yo, my man, what's up? Yeah, welcome to the podcast, Israel Mateke Zulu. Podcast, by the way, my name is Israel Mateke Zulu, aka GP, my orange, the ghetto professor, King Manamune. Let's go straight to the point without wasting any time because everyone is busy in the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. My lady, how are you?
Yampila, how are you?
Yampila.
Yo, I'm so excited to be here. You need to understand, this is my childhood hero. It's my orange, it's a GP. This is a big one for me, so thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. What's your name?
Gama. Genesis, actually. Genesis.
Oh, Genesis.
Genesis, Gabriella, Tina, Manny.
Hey, you've got beautiful names, eh? What nation are you?
So Uma Ndebele,
Okay.
and my dad is Cap.
So it's
a
colored.
very nice mix. But I identify as black. Yes.
Okay. You are African.
I'm African, absolutely.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
The content and the context and the concept of this episode is just to profile you, to know you. I heard you have more than millions followers in the social media. How many millions do you have?
Just 1 million on Instagram, and maybe another one on 1 million on Facebook.
Yeah. Talent lakho le rap liqale nini?
Literally when I was about 11. So ngqale ngama poems. I had my first poem published at the Poetry Institute of Africa, and umem at the time at school felt ukuthi she wanted to cultivate it.
Okay.
So that's when she would keep me in esikoleni during break. Then I started really liking the process of writing poems.
Okay.
My mom is a very, very big Salt and Pepper fan.
Yeah.
Fugees. So kahle bekune hip hop nyana, in terms of the influence. And she said to me, "Why ungayenzi lento ukuthi ukhulumele phezu kwe beats, like on the song?"
Oh, the mother.
But my mother, mom, and started doing that. Absolutely loved it. And I think by the time I was 16, that's when I started kind of joining Ama Cyphers, Ekandi Square. And yeah, then I met Pro Kid, the late Pro Kid, and yeah, life changed.
Yeah, a boy from Tip 2.
Yes.
Lyrics.
Lyrics.
That guy was good, eh?
Absolutely. I think there will never be another. There will never be another.
What's the difference between South African hip hop and American hip hop?
Yeah, it's handle question. I think we do come from, what was created as a genre being hip hop, which is American.
Yes.
But when you go back in time, you actually find out which we have had.
We are the original. We had our own.
Yes, Imboni, things that we were doing, way before that time. And right now, in terms of South African hip hop, I think the one thing that we can say, we found our culture is kupuset, whether it's taken a bit, from Kwaito, whatever it is, and just being able to rap your own language. I think that is, the difference. And also, Big Zulu, who came into it and really embraced the culture yabo and made hip hop their own. So there is definitely a difference, but it kind of all comes from the same, I like to say, human race, when it comes to hip hop. But I think everyone has found their different voices in different places. Nase Japan, but there's similarities, like you're saying, the pants, the fashion, that's where we connect.
So how challenging it is to be a South African rapper or rapper in Sindebele or in a Sizulu? Yet American, they use English, which English is a global language. Do they take you serious? Do they listen to you? Do they understand you?
The crazy thing, Rodman, is I think now they do.
Okay.
The last thing you want to do, Mauti, you're representing your country, is to go somewhere and give them something they already have. I think for a lot of African artists, for some reasons, cabanga ukuthi mesifika laphaya, we need to become them. And I think they actually like the difference. They like it when we come in, yabona, and I mean, there's a song I'm dropping with a German rapper, and they just loved the clicks, kamgap, izinto ezinjalo that we just take very lightly. So I think before we felt like we needed to do what the Americans are doing, but I think right now they really, really love it when we come in with something different.
Can you recite your first poem when you were 11?
Oh, Valentine's Day, I love so much. It is a day when lovers can keep in touch. Some people say Valentine's Day is bad, and some do not like it because they are lonely and sad. Some like it because they can get chocolates from their lovers, but when the day comes, some just hide in their covers. Because they don't have lovers for that special day, it does not have to be celebrated in a romantic way.
Man.
The speed boxing.
Oh, it was about Valentine.
It was about Valentine's Day.
Okay, that was your first poem.
The very first.
How many albums do you have?
Khona manje, I think I'm sitting on just three. Just three. Yes.
How many singles? How many mixtapes?
Yabona njengama mixtape, but man, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But albums, 3 pieces of work. We're about to go on the 4th one, which I'm excited about for next year. And the features are amazing.
What is your stable? Are you an independent artist, or have you signed a record label?
I am independent. I am independent. I've had my fair share of AMA labels, and I just like the freedom, even though Gunzima, because naturally now you're responsible for production costs, so many things. I like the fact that I can decide when I want to do something and how I want to do it.
And how difficult it is, because you've touched it a bit. Being independent, I think it's a struggle. Because if you have a record deal, you have signed a contract, you will be pushed, social media, you'll get platforms to perform, they will finance you to the studio from one point to another, and based on the system, the spider web, the cabal, so it's easy for you to fit in. But being independent, I think it's more challenging. So what are those challenges?
You've already mentioned it. The financial, I think, implications. Being like, now you have to represent yourself, in certain meetings. You have to create your team. When you're going for a meeting now, you're the one who has to give instructions to someone. Like it's all on you. But then I will say, going back to what you're saying, when you're in a label, the minute you open that fridge and you take out a cold drink, you owe people money. The minute you use that airtime and you're recording in studio, you owe someone money. The minute the company bus goes out to go and transport you to the next interview or gig, you owe people money. So I think in one way, yes, it's very difficult. If you don't have the connections or you don't have the finances, it can be very difficult. But on the other end, I also feel that independence should be a time, and for anyone watching, it's a time for you to network, to meet people, to build your own systems, your own structures, to become a business person as well. Sikhulume futhi nge-AI that's coming in right now, podcasts, the internet. Now you don't have to belong to a label to blow up. We have TikTok stars, we have people who come from very humble beginnings now. So I think, some might even say the record label is dying. I think the record label is dying.
People are independent.
Yeah, people are independent now. You are putting money behind yourself, and if you really have what it takes, or if you're really lucky, things can change for you just in a video.
Yeah, because the record label, I've heard, they give artists maybe 2% or 5% out of 100%.
That is true.
So you are working for the stable.
You're working for the stable. By the time it gets to you as the artist, it's peanuts.
So when we say 2% of 1 million is 20,000, we shoot in 980,000 goes to the stable.
Yes.
So what do you do for a living? How do you raise money to finance your music?
Okay, so I'm so happy I discovered this now. But obviously, in industry, the lights are there. You get many friends. Lots of things change. But I think the one thing I'm thankful for is that I understand passive income. Passive income meaning that you are making money whether or not you are working, and it doesn't come from your main job. So as an artist, you're not gonna have a hit all the time. You're not going to be able to do certain things all the time. But if you can take imali yakho and invest it maybe into starting, I don't know, a young spaza or young, something, then at least it can,
Entrepreneurship.
yeah, absolutely, it can
Reinvest the money.
reinvest. And then before you know it, that other business is now funding this that you love and you're trying to push, and so
Yeah, now that money, it's helping you to the destination of your passion.
That's how I see it.
So how do you take out your music? How do you market yourself?
How do I market myself? So, I mean, in this day and age, there's so many platforms. There's TuneCore. There's so many I can mention where you can do it yourself. So, and if you don't want to do that, then there are obviously spaces like, a Virgin Music. So, Virgin Music, I'm currently working with. They're releasing my stuff. They were formerly Electro Mode.
Okay, yeah.
But now they're Virgin Music.
Chris
Galakis, may his soul rest in peace.
Randbeck.
Right.
Oh, he passed away.
Yes, he did. He passed on.
Stable Sapomakesh.
Yeah.
Nabo Kabelo, Nabo Speedy.
Yeah, that one.
Nabo the late Maheu.
TK Mikasa, everybody's there.
Spoon Jangas.
Yo.
Maloya.
He's teaching me now.
I went there.
Really?
Yeah, I was featured there. There's a track we did called Amashanda Pa. In the era of Kwaito, Kwaito Nation. But I was an outskirt of this thing. I was not a priority.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and in our era, if you had a demo, there was a tour that was organized by Electro Mode. Every September, we go to the mines, Carltonville. Okay. We're going to perform for those people who are working in the mine. But surprisingly, I was the last performer. Because my performer we used to fight, hey, who's gonna perform first? Who's gonna perform
Not
first?
You.
But it's true, but no, I can't. Mauridi must perform first. But no, if Mauridi can go there, my man. People won't pay attention to
you anymore. Oh wow! So it's a small. Now it's become Virgin Music.
Oh, now it's becoming Virgin Music.
Yes.
There by Bram Fisher. Oh, it's still there.
No. Now I think it's moved. It's moved though. It's moved. It's in the Bryanston areas though. It's
okay.
And just behind Epsom Downs Shopping Centre.
Okay.
Yes.
So at school. Under the curriculum system of education implemented in our country, 7 compulsory subjects, maybe when you are a generation after me,
yes.
Besides finding a talent of being a rapper and a poet, parents or maybe sisters or brothers or the influence of the system, which career did they look for in you?
Like, I think when we're all young, we all want to be doctors and nurses. And then it changed. When I did a career day, Helen Joseph, to go shadow this man who was a pathologist. I wanted to be a pathologist. Pathologist, and I'm a crime scenes. And I realized that I could not do it. I could not do it. It was not for me, but I enjoyed the story. So then that's when I think I realized, okay, fine, you've been writing from the age of 11.
Yeah,
it's highly creative writing. So go into something that will allow you to write. So then journalism. Yes.
But journalism is still part of the industry.
Absolutely.
I came across many lawyers who love music and doctors.
Yeah, it's true. I've actually realized a lot of people have extra things that they were doing or are still doing.
I lied when I was standard 8. Standard 8 is grade what?
Grade 10.
Grade 10. I said I wanted to be a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is a person that deals with human mentality. People who are disorganized, who are mentally frustrated, people who are mentally ill. But I was inspired by the most education fanatic in a team. There was a guy who was school-wise. So makuzaenda bazama assignment and essays. Them la, they say we must write what you want to be when we grow up. I said you want to be a psychiatrist. But when I look at it now in a journey, I am that psychiatrist.
It's true. I was going to say that too. I feel like you are that psychiatrist with the roles you play, the people you heal, because besides everything else, psychiatrist is also there to heal.
Yeah.
You know, the people you heal.
It's like a psychologist.
I'm learning things, I'm experiencing things. So it is very true.
It is very true.
It is. It does come full circle.
Yeah, no, Nyaguzwa Mtana Sekaya. So what are you up to now?
So right
It's
now,
November now, everyone is releasing.
We are preparing for gigs.
December. It's pity.
Listen, Mongameli is out. I'm really excited. It's my new single featuring Kwelas. For a lot of people who don't know what Kwelas are a movement of young boys from Braamfontein. So they come from different parts of SA. They're going to university. They're all trying to start their music careers. A very new version, I would say, of Boys and Bucks. What used to be Boys and Bucks, which created Abo Ricky Rick, Nabo Oke Malum Cool Cats.
Yeah.
Then we are dropping the album next year. I'm really excited about that. It features MT, OK Kid, some of your favorites. Just wait for it.
Yeah.
So that will be the 4th studio album. So everything is just music. We've got a very nice platform that I've launched as well called EGGverse. So it's a community where you basically sign up and you get free gifts from me. You get to communicate with me. It's basically a community that we've created, like a little country for Gigi gang, people who love Gigi. And like I'm saying, there's lots of things we're giving away there. We're getting ready to gig. We're getting ready for the festive.
Let's talk about the evolution of music.
Yeah.
At some point, the Kwaito Nation was on the top list. Then after the era, Yabo Brown Dash, Nabo Mandoza, Nabo Mzegezege, Nabo Pitch Black Afro, Abo Breaks, Abo Zola. Then it was hip hop.
Yes.
When I talk about hip hop, I talk about the double HPs, the Pro Kids, the Pitch Black Afro. Ghetto Rough.
Squatter Camp.
Then, the Squatter Camp, Flabbers, H2O. Then it was era for house. The Black Coffee, Abu Busim Song. So when I look at the era now, based on the evolution and the revolution, I don't see any hip hop now in the midst. I think we've got Nasty C, we've got MT, and this another guy, I don't know his name exactly. I don't know indlela sengathi ziphumela ngaphandle so. Thanda ukuqola amasuti makayenza amavidiyo
Maclera.
Yeah,
Maclera boy.
Yeah. So how do you rate hip hop from back then and now?
I think hip hop has definitely, we transcend. I mean, Unobuba rapper, a very good friend of mine, actually explained the difference between rapper and, hip hop as a culture, as a musical genre. But we find ourselves in different genres, and bring ourselves back in. But what I've noticed over the years is hip hop, there was a time when there was Gqom.
Then there was Gqom before house.
Yes, before there was Gqom.
There was Gqom, and then after Gqom, Bogabo Heavy K.
Yes.
Prince KB.
Yeah. So hip hop has moments, but we always come back.
Yeah.
So even now,
it's a genre that will be there forever and ever.
And then we come back up.
It fluctuates, it comes down, it goes up. Just like that.
Absolutely. I think that's exactly what it is. So a lot of people feel like, where's hip hop? But we're only starting to release so much, to be honest. I think we had some very strong releases only now towards the end of the year. We have also had ones at the beginning of the year. I mean, Pretty Ugly dropped Dust. But I get what you're saying, that big boom. But I think it's coming. 2025, I think is going to be a very good year for hip hop.
So how do you put the hip hop genre
Mm.
in a level of piano? Bona manje the sculpture, the small king of Gomorrah, Pori Boys, Dali Wonga, something Soweto, Bobuhle, or Caspano Veza is diverse, is diversity.
Yes, it's diversity.
Yeah, he's all in one, all rounder.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. How do you put hip hop into the level of piano and make hip hop to be lovable and be relevant to the mass?
I think, and Ngizokhuluma like from the most truthful place, Amapiano is really, really ours, you know, and I think it's okay to love both. It might be impossible to actually put hip hop there because Amapiano is becoming a culture in itself. And that one we can strongly say Aiki debate. You know, there is no debate. That is South African, it is African, it is our thing. So I'm actually not hoping that hip hop gets bigger than Amapiano. I'm hoping for more collaborations. I'm hoping Uguti, I mean, and there's some that I've done. I mean, I've done some collaborations with some Abu Pasta 99. I've done collaborations with them, the boys. For me, it's just Uguti hip hop exists, and every time they hear Ivesra Gigi on an Amapiano song, they remember that there's hip hop. I don't think we will ever get to a point where hip hop can be bigger, only because this thing has become such a culture for us that we are proud of.
Let's talk about Questa.
Yes. My
Is he a rapper?
Yeah, but Questa's a rapper, a very strong rapper.
He's also a quiet one.
We are a figure.
He's also a piano.
Diversification. He's diverse. Diversification. And those are our strongest soldiers, Rodman, like Abo Casper, Abo Questa, Abo Caesar Alakine, Abo
KO.
Yeah, the ones that can devil. I really like Nyabashonip because where we think that the culture is, you know, falling apart in terms of hip hop, bias paramisa in other spaces to remind people Uti they're still in their soul. You know, we are still here, we're still relevant, and we can also play with other kids. You know, I think gone are the days where some people be like, you know, that one, they sold us out, they sold the culture out. Now it's we are all working together, and that should be the common goal. Working together got Tyler winning a Grammy, you know?
Yeah.
So not a Grammy, a BET.
So the category of hip hop, it's still there in the music awards.
Yeah, well, you kinda Pretty Ugly one. We had a very nice one at the Summers this year. We had a very nice hip hop rendition where some of our people came on stage. Abu Nadia, Abu MT, myself, Zakwe, Caesar Alakine, D Koala. We had like a freestyle moment, you know. So it is still there. It is still there. And I don't know. I just feel like 2025 is gonna be
Now let's talk about a sensitive reality. We're coming from the era of Brenda Fassie, Bulebo Matosa, Umshoza, Omandoza, Briggs, Mapaputsi. And then let's talk about the legacy they leave for the people. Are you inspired by one of them?
All of them.
And then give me the reason.
Lebo Matosa is like an idol. Like, listen, you can tell. I loved her. I loved her tenacity. I loved her daring nature. I loved her sexiness. So growing up for me, like in the industry, even though I became a rapper because I'm no singer, I've always felt Uguti, there was a way of uplifting women and not making women victims. And I loved that about her. Same goes for same goes for the late Usisi Shoza, who actually was a headliner at a show that I did at Elka Stadium called the Gigi Gang Show, where we were trying to host the first South African hip hop festival by a woman. And it wouldn't have been possible without her coming on and supporting as the godmother, which is what we all call her. Whether you like it or not, as a female hip hop artist in this country, there's no way you can say Mshoza didn't inspire, open doors, create conversations about us in a boardroom, in a studio, at festivals, at shows. So it goes without saying. And I think they've all had such strong characters. They sabi to be on their own, alone, and just doing their own thing, which is also very important. I feel that legends are created when they're not afraid to stand alone. You know, sometimes you're going to have to stand alone if you believe in something, and I think that's what they did.
Then what comes into your mind when you hear about their set ending in terms of drugs,
Mm,
depression, suicidal,
mm.
bankruptcy?
We have a long way to go when it comes to the creative arts, I think, and respecting the creative arts. You know, in some countries, it's taken very seriously, you know, to protect. You know, there's funding that goes into it, unama programs that go into it, but I think in other spaces and other countries, it's not that, yeah, it's not that easy of a conversation. I also think Uguti, as role models, more especially in hip hop, we find ourselves rapping about things, not understanding, well, see, these kids are listening and they will end up going to do those things. So there's a lot of also just irresponsibility when it comes to us. Nama voices there for you to remember with you. Like, if I say something to that little girl, she's going to think that it's okay, you know?
Yeah, what if you listen to the Nicki Minaj's, to the Cardi B's, yes, on the beach, yeah, yes, flow, yes, yeah, I've got nice legs, I'm on the Ferrari, I'm on a Lamborghini, I'm gonna party today, I'm gonna smoke until the morning comes, cocaine runs in my veins, yes,
Yo.
that's hip hop. So
Then there's the hip hop that is healing, you know, like, I mean, the Ambitious Days, and MT Saudi Java, like what that represented. I think that was a good era that we probably need to revisit.
So, what does your music represent?
Yo, mine just represents like a beautiful young woman, just trying to get it, and not letting anything validate them. You know, you don't need a yes from anyone, and I think that's what my career really has stood for. And I think I found this calling very late, maybe 5 years into my career, where I wish Ogote I hadn't listened so much to the noise, because I feel like I would have been further. So for me, I really want to stand as a testimony, to a young girl, Okulele Kasi, who didn't have much. My mother is a nursing sister. She managed to do things and make things happen for me to be this person today. So I just want you to understand where you are sitting as a young woman. Like, there is nothing that you can't do. You can start from somewhere, and the next day you are traveling the world, and it's because you believed that you could do it. So no validation from people, but visualize what you want, manifest it. I promise it works.
Do you believe most of musicians or dancers is their profession, or is where they hide to face the reality of life? When we take you to Braamfontein to school, we thought you'll be a scientist then, or you'll be an architect. Then you come as a rapper, you come as a Machiavelli, you come as no, I do graphics.
I do graphics. I think.
I have my brand. I do t-shirts. I'm pushing my brand.
Somebody's gonna push the brand, Godman. Somebody's gonna push.
But don't you think what we choose as African nation are the careers that doesn't generate enough income and sustainable income and leave a positive legacy? Don't you think so?
Yeah, I've
How many white rappers do you have? Where you schooled?
None.
What do they do when they get there?
become lawyers, they become doctors, they become accountants. Yeah.
This is how
Music execs.
this is how I see it. Ne? I found a lot of so-called upcoming artists envy the chosen original artist. I want to be like him. Are you aware how many artists do we have right now?
It's funny. But isn't that a good thing? Doesn't it mean that the industry is growing? South Africa, like we are the country that everyone says like, oh, if you want good dancers, go to South Africa. Maybe that's actually our exports, you know? Like, Brazil, surgery, what doing now? So maybe that's is doing entertainment.
Brazil to many in Polo.
Yeah, in Polo.
So
or even more cosmetics, what my BBL.
What in a studio jive?
Not so jive only. Don't say it like that. Not so jive, but we're a partying country. Like we.
Yeah, I mean when you come across social media, TikTok.
Yeah, everyone is dancing.
When you open your data there, your Wi-Fi there, 5 clips of black people dancing. And one clip of a white boy creating a TLB that works like a professional TLB, the big one. Or they will show you a black boy being a preacher at the early age. Alingisela umfundisi in the Lion of Judah. And then along the journey to our victory, we find that we are unskilled. Let's talk about the economy. Which nations are running the trade? Talk about trade, I'm talking about skills. Plumbing, electrician, upholstery, motor mechanic, plumbing,
just
bricklaying, constructions. It went worse now, the Spazas.
No, that's
Pakistan, Somalians. The black economy, the township economy. What's your take on that? How can we make it better? And we look at the rate of unemployment, depression and frustration, and substance abuse, and overflowing prisons.
It's a reality. It's a reality. I think we need to go back to the fundamentals of what we are putting out in the news and in the media.
You know, when we are approaching December, when I was a boy, we had few artists. My mother will tell me and say, yes, we've had Yvonne Chaka Chaka. We've had Sinyaka. We've had, there's one person missing. It's Brenda Fassie. There was that countdown. Artists, we know artists. But now you can't even trace who's who. There's bunch of artists.
I remember the Brenda age when you used to wait for December because you knew she's dropping something. That age of wanting to show us.
So now you can't predict, you can't say who's gonna close the year.
The one that everyone votes for and then get decided.
Or it goes by votes, not by favorite.
It goes by votes. What was it last year? E-planning? I think it was E-plan. It's called E-plan. It was it was a nice song. It was a nice song.
Okay, so can you give us a taste of your rapping career? This is a rap coach, yeah?
Yes.
When I invite talented people, I want you to demonstrate your gift. It's very important. Let people see you. You know, sometimes I came across people who say, I want to sing. Need to sing. I can't sing here at the street corner. Where do you want to sing? No, you need to go to studio. No, you got it wrong. I mean, a star can wake up 4 a.m. in the morning and wake up the star. A star will blow the lyric out of the blue moon.
This is a lot of pressure. Are you ready?
I just want to test your confidence
Okay.
and how brave you are.
Oh, wow. Let's see. They call me black. They love me, they hate me, but cannot replace me. My pen will have scribbles in black. I am not complaining. I never. Okay, let's go. Yeah. I'm so nervous.
That sounds.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's take it. They call me black. They love me, they hate me, but cannot replace me. My pen will have scribbles in black. I am not complaining. My legacy, kings and queens and diamonds and slacks. I hate her, I love her. There's something about her. I'm Gigi, so relax. Got multiple lives. A cat with the strides. A purr on pyramids. Who you know survive like me? Tweeted them life by me. And I'm inventing big boys fly by me. Name reservation times by 3. I'm a businesswoman, still a lover though. Don't got many friends, can't trust these girls by my squally though. I got seasoned girls, got them in and out of OR visa girls.
You have graduated in my initiation.
I got nervous there. I looked up and I saw you and you were like,
yeah, that nervousness, it's a demon.
Oh, I love it.
You need to overcome that.
Absolutely.
It's a camera. There's a stage front, or this is a camera front.
Have you ever had stage fright?
Me,
never.
My first play that I wrote, I was in prison. 1990. I was sentenced 1996. I developed my movement between 1997 up to 1999. And bear in mind, I'm the first person to enter the stage.
Wow.
You didn't see the crowd. I remember the biggest performance I've ever performed. The hall in Sun City was fully packed. We were escorted from the section to the hall. We call upon the students around the townships, the most problematic students, to come and witness what is present so that they don't fall into the trap that we fell to make situation better. So I'm the first person to open the stage. I think what overcomes the stage fright in me, it's my personal journey. What do I want to achieve? Why I chose what I'm doing, or why it has chosen me. Sometimes things that we are known of, it's not things that we chosen. It's things that chosen us. So it was personal. So it makes me angry, and the more I'm angry, is the more I become great. I remember my struggle where I come from, coming from a one-room house, from a poor family with no father figure, no luxury at home. Life is very tough. So here's an opportunity now. It has came. My boy, now the ball is in your court. And I remember there are those who don't wish you to make it. In a hall, not everyone is there to support you for a positive destination. Some, they are there just to witness, is this really happening? Some, they are there to witness the mistakes of your craft. So no, I was just lecturing how to overcome the fear. Some, they use drugs on it in your genre, in the music world. I think there's too much drugs in the music world. Some, I think they use it because they want to overcome that fear. I wouldn't started doing it if I had fear. My first performance, I was not invited in a performance. I ambush. I get crushed the performance. Yes. And I was denied an opportunity, but I was given a benefit of a doubt of 5 minutes. My first activity was a gumboot dance. I grew up in a youth club. I grew up in church. So in church, there's activities. So some young people, they don't want to go to church because they feel church is boring church is for the weak ones. They want to be clever. No. Church, it's a home of safety. It's a home of hope. It's a home of the needy. It's a home of the disadvantaged. It's a home of everyone who feels he or she doesn't have any and anybody. So in the eyes of the Lord, in the house of the Lord, everyone is welcome. So I use those platforms to explore my journey in art. So let's talk about money.
Ding, ding.
Does hip hop have money?
Yeah, I once said something and then my head got a bit off. It depends. It depends on. Somebody said something so profound the other day, and he was saying everyone has the money except the artist. They just make it look like the artist has the money, but the people in the back are the ones making more of the money. So yeah, hip hop. I mean, I think it's become better for us.
Or the people who are behind the scenes?
Absolutely.
The production.
The productions, the labels, they definitely cash out more than the artist, even though it's made to seem like the artist is the one on. I think we're now learning to play the game differently when it comes to our endorsements,
Yes.
sponsorships,
Yeah.
things like that. I think we're now starting to realize, we'll say, yo, there's money, but the money is not always going to come from our shows. Like, I have to think ahead and diversify even within the genre.
Yeah. So, how do you survive drugs if you did not? If you did, how did you got involved?
So luckily I've never been on anything. I've never been on anything sour because I've got such an addictive personality. I will have my glass of wine here and there once in a while, respectfully. But my mother growing up, my mom was very strict. Funny enough, she also did psychiatry. She did psychiatry. She's a nursing sister though. And with psychiatry, you're always dealing with lengane, like, kids who are
Down syndrome.
Yes, Down syndrome.
Autism.
Yes, autism.
Let's say autism in brackets.
Yes, and then you deal also with kids or people who are brought to you now because of the substance and abuse. It's induced other things. Where then you intervene as a psychiatrist and whatnot. So, some of these stories growing up, like, was scary enough for you not to even want to. I can proudly say, like, I do not engage. I do not engage, and I can imagine that, some of my peers might, but it's like you're saying, there's also this adrenaline to kick out the fear without help from anything. Doing it clean, doing it nice. It makes you feel like you're chosen. It makes you feel like this is right. It's meant for you. You are meant for it. The minute you have to take anything to feel all right, I think is where now you have to kind of start questioning, is this really something I'm supposed to be doing? But for me, I've always been in the clear, and I think it's honestly because of who I am. Like, I've seen her patients. I used to hear stories about her, Esbedlela, and dealing with people who've decided to take their life that way.
You're going to be a future mom. How are you going to instill fear in your kids to be better kids?
Yeah.
What will be your strategy to raise your kids to be the best generation of the country?
I have never been asked that question. I'm not even a mother yet. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of parent I'm going to be. Like, would you like to give me advice? Would you
I think we need to display the truth now. Some of us who were raised with fear, they've instilled fear in us. All the time when you say your kid, you are a good kid, you're going to do good, he or she is going to be comfortable. You must tell your kid that you're not going to make it in life. You're gonna be like your mother or your uncle. You're gonna be a hobo. You're gonna stay under the bridge. You are useless. By so doing, he or she will want to prove a point to you. I have a friend who doesn't smoke, who doesn't drink.
Mm.
When I ask him, what makes you not to drink and not to smoke?
Mm.
He says, my mother was a drunkard. My mother was a smoker. And my grandmama used to tell me, you're going to be useless like your mother. Then he had to prove a point to become a better citizen.
Powerful.
It's a strategy. Yabona le nto yokuteketisa abantwana lokuthi phuna lokumfaka la emathangini lokumtefisa la ungamfundisi istruggle. You will regret. Ngoba abantwana bethu baba yi-sponge cake. Abantwana bethu ba-isolated. They hide themselves in the rooms. They're about social media. They have privacy. You are even scared to enter he or her room without notification. You can't just burst in there and talk to your kid. Then you don't know your kid. You are just a provider. He has eaten. It's fine. Why Tina we were raised with hardship? But that hardship has produced this product. That's the truth. It's a fact.
It is.
We are the product of apartheid, corporal punishment from school, no school trips, no full uniform, barefooted at school, no lunch box for lunch, no Christmas clothes, no luxury. A house that doesn't have a car, that doesn't have a television. But look at us today.
It's true. It's true.
Where I live, it's a suburb. Boys like to hang around in my gate. I think it's a smoking zone. One of my neighbors said, do they not bother you, Israel? I met my neighbor 2 weeks ago since I live there. You know, suburb, there's no neighboring. Everyone minds his own business. I said, no, man, I don't feel the way you feel. I think they are my security. It's better when there's people than
when there's no people.
There's no people. I have a fear that they might be the one who can battle
It's true.
into my house.
It's true.
So I never, sometimes they like to open a gate for me because of my illness. The uncle is limping. Can you open? And not to say I can't open it for myself.
Or self-bathing.
Yeah, but when I look at those children, all of them, and it's those children that are called cheese boys. But they look like they live in a bridge.
Why is that?
Because they are comfortable. They are born where there's everything. To the young ladies out there who want to be like you, Nadia Nakai, Booty Tulo. I know those.
Yeah, you can see it. No.
The Mahou, the future Mahous.
Yes.
The future Nicki Minaj's. The future Cardi B's. The future Rihanna's. And the future Beyonce's. Uncle Waffle. The future whoever stallion. What will be your advice to them?
Yo, don't seek validation. Like I said, for me that's the strongest one. Like, don't seek validation. Be willing to take risks, for your betterment. Don't be afraid to try something if you feel that is something for you. And when I say something, I mean your career path, learning a new skill. There's so many things. I mean, the other day we were looking at career choices, and because we were brought up in like in our society, there are very limited amounts of jobs. But when you go in WNZ research, you find that what you thought was nothing is actually a job. Like, you can earn money from doing certain things. So do that. Don't every day you need to learn something new. You know, that's my policy. Whether I get into a relationship, romantic relationship with someone or my friends, always be with people who can teach you something new. I think for me that's also very, very important. And don't forget to pray.
Oh, that's your spiritual strength.
That's it. Don't forget to pray. Like when you're feeling alone, when you're grateful, no matter what it is, and you need to really have a conversation outside of your conversation with people, like just don't forget to pray.
Have you ever lied in your lyric while being a rapper that I have mentioned?
Ah,
Driving a big car.
ah.
I pray every day, God
Is it
listen
lying?
to
Is
me.
it lying or is it storytelling? Is it lying or is it storytelling?
No, I hear some of them, they lie.
They lie. Tell us who. Tell us who.
People lie.
Tell
You
us
see,
who.
like Americans, né?
Mm.
Let me tell you about
Mm.
the Americans.
Mm.
Have you realized any American rapper, the new one, who entered the game, one song, 2 songs, already has a Ferrari and a mansion. He has a value. His numbers will be written. He value 150 billions or whatsoever. You think that's the truth?
For them.
Yeah?
No, man, we see them in the music videos carrying racks, dollar racks there, money. No, man, we don't know. And I guess that's why people have this perception that there is so much money.
And then when they say, I pray every day before I sleep, does that happen? Can you pray every day?
Why? Because I said don't forget to pray.
I believe there's nothing you can do every day.
Yeah, definitely.
Consistently.
Yeah, no.
You can't even eat every day.
That's true.
You are human, eh? Biologically, naturally, generally, socially, psychologically, spiritually. There's nothing you can do every day.
Yeah.
You can't have sex every day. You can't eat every day. Every day when you wake up, the routine, breakfast, lunch, supper, 10 o'clock tea, 11 o'clock snacks, 1:30 biscuit. No. Then you are not
There's
human.
that thing. But is consistency not a good thing?
Me, some days I don't eat.
Mm.
The body doesn't want food. Then they need a spiritual food. Just need a Holy Spirit, And not to say I'm sick by then or I'm hungry. There's a lot of food, but I don't feel like eating. I can survive without eating.
I hear you.
So, where do people find you? If people need you, need to book you, and need to follow you, we are extending numbers now.
Yes, love it. And on X, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Gigi_Lemaine. Just look for the blue tick, Gigi_Lemaine. And then, of course, we have Facebook. Love my Facebook family as well, Gigi Lemaine. YouTube, Gigi Lemaine. Look for the blue tick. And yeah, that's it.
Where do you live?
Konamanch?
Yeah.
I live somewhere here, near here.
In the north.
I don't want to
North
say
and
that.
Johannesburg.
I live somewhere in the north, but I'm from the south.
No problem.
Yes.
Okay, what will be your destination if one day you will wake up and say, Mama, I've made it?
Mama, I've made it. Working for the United Nations. Absolutely. That is the goal. I want to do, I've been part of the Global Goals campaign, but my biggest thing is to work with children, particularly girls, to build this. Well, let me not even say girls, because lately I've been speaking a lot to the boy child. I feel that the black male child is under a lot of siege. He's taken a very, I don't know whether it's the media or whatever it is, but he is the villain. He is the bad guy. He is the problem. And I fear that one day, if I were to have a son, he would actually look at himself as that. So I would like to start a whole lot of initiatives around the black boy child. Let's be specific about that. Let's be intentional about that. That if we're looking for leaders in men, then we all need to come to the party. It's not just a man's job. It's not just a mother's job. It's the community's job. So right now for me, United Nations Global Goals Campaign, I want to focus on children. I think it's really, really important for me because my mother was also brought up by the Salvation Army, by a community, people outside of, the normal structure of what a family is. So just community work around children. I think I'll be happy. I'll retire. Peace out. Dad.
You are a brand,
Yes.
or you are about to be the brand. How are you going to utilize your brand?
Definitely by the
How
numbers.
are you going to engage
Yes.
your brand
The numbers.
and grow your brand?
The numbers. I mean, there's so many other things that I've been doing now. I recently opened an IV drip store. So I'm an IV drips at the Mark Shopping Center.
The sneakers.
No, IV drips. I'm a drip. So
I'm a drip.
I'm a drip. Like
I said cleaning.
I'm a drip. Yes.
Oh.
So whether you need to detox, weight loss.
Most women are like your mother.
She's manifesting. Yes. So if I can just get to a point where I'm expanding on that business, so that I can, start other things when it comes to outreach, then I'm happy.
I like the way you think.
Yeah,
You're thinking different. You're thinking so different. I never heard somebody talking about amanjekshini, namatri. People will talk about, I want to open a cosmetic shop, clothing label, and so forth and so forth and so forth.
Yeah, no.
Okay, my lady, thanks for coming, for gracing our coach, for humbling yourself and responded positively when the horn was blowing. You responded. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work and let your gospel reach the mass. Let your preaching go to other people. My last question. If you have to change the country, and if you have to recommend the country, what's the recommendation and how will you change the country to become a better?
Get younger people in parliament. Get young blood in parliament. Like, we are ready. We want to be part of the solutions. We want to engage. We've got ideas. We're looking for spaces to really, even in situations like this, media, press, we've got the ideas. So for me, start listening to the kids. It's a real thing, in the words of Ricky Rick. Like, get younger people into government, into parliament. Let's all be part of the solution.
And not exactly to be ministers or president, but maybe to be a certain advisory forum.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Till we meet again. It's a wrap. Israel Matseke Zulu, please subscribe. We allow any donation. We allow any comment. We allow any contribution. Guys, I need designers to come to the podcast. Come and display your craft. I need talented people. I need magicians. I need somebody who can stand in the atmosphere like Jesus Christ to come and stand here. If there's any magician in the country, on the planet Earth. Whether you are a musician, you are a rapper, you are undiscovered, you are an underground, this platform is created for you. Remember, it's a podcast for the people and by the people. Ghetto Professor, JP Orange, I'm out.